It'll be one to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy, coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, 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 dig, 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 go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Please, we are pleased to be joined in our media center right now by Jeff Gordon. He drives the number 24 DuPont Chevrolet. He is 10th in points. This will be his 15th All-Star race here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. He has won 3 times. Jeff, as I mentioned, you've won this thing 3 times. What's it mean to win the All-Star race, Sprint All-Star race?
It means a lot. This is a very special event. You know, we're all kind of relaxed, you know, right now because you know, points aren't on the line. You know, the pressure is just not there to have this awesome race car for the race, you know, in order to get those points. But I can tell you that once they put you inside the car and it's time to go, I would say that this race, more than any race that I have, I cinch those belts up just a little bit tighter, you know, because you just know how hard you're going to push. You know how you know what an exciting race it's going to be, and that whoever comes out on top had to work really hard for it and deserves it, and had to overcome a lot of things. And so in the individual event, you know, just because you're up against the best and them at their best means a lot. And then the history of the sport of seeing the greats who have won this race and the history of this event and the excitement that it is, especially because it's for the fans. I just love the fact that we put on a great show for the fans, and you know, and because of that, the fans, you know, they're it's going to mean a lot to them too as to who wins this race.
If you have a question for Jeff, we'll bring you the wireless mic. We'll start right here on the front, and then we'll go to the back. Go ahead.
Hey Jeff, Tom Jensen, SpeedTV.com. This is kind of more of a technical question. When you won here with the T-Rex, that was a wildly different chassis setup and much different designed to optimize speed in a 10-lap shootout. Now that the final segment's 25 laps instead of 10 laps, you go with more conventional setups in the car, and is there less difference than you might ordinarily run if it was 10 laps?
Well, I don't remember what the length of the other segments were in that race, but we won all 3 segments, so we were pretty good on all the runs with that car. I mean, what happened with that car was, you know, we decided to build a car for a specific event where you couldn't work on the car, you couldn't really change the rear end gear in the car because the fuel cell location was such that you couldn't pull it off. And so all that was maximizing, you know, the CG and just getting weight, car as light as possible, getting the weight as low as possible. You know, really looking at the geometry of the car to maximize the grip in the tires, and then a great body, and of course we always come out with great horsepower. You can just throw that all out the window these days. I mean, especially even more so with this car. You know, with this car, the only real thing that we can do to experiment, of course, all of you guys have been seeing these cars in yaw down the straightaways. That's one, and that's supposed to give the car side force, which feels like downforce to us. It has not been proven to me. If you look at my car, it's probably one of the least yawed out there, and my car is driving, you know, pretty good. We'll see if we've got the speed at the end of the night, but you know, felt pretty good about my car. And then the other thing is under the hood, you know, the horsepower, you know, and pushing the limits of the reliability of the engine. And that's about the only thing we can do these days. They've got us in such a box. There's very little that we can do to get out there and experiment and bring, you know, these exciting things and ingenuity and you know, really get outside the box to think of what advantages we might be able to gain for this one particular event. Not to mention, if we did bring something like that and they didn't like it, I'm still not sure what the fine would be. You know, if it's anything like it was in Sonoma last year, then it's not worth it. You know, if it transfers over to other events.
Go ahead.
Jeff, this race has such a reckless, wild reputation, but you've won it 3 times. Jimmy's won it twice. Mark Martin's won it twice. You three are pretty patient, methodical racers. Does that mean that recklessness is overfetched and it's really more about how good you are and sometimes how patient you are?
I wouldn't call it reckless. I think anybody who's reckless isn't around at the end of this race. I think that it's knowing when to be aggressive and when to be patient. A lot like most races that we do, every weekend. The only difference is that when it comes time to be risky, you can be more risky because you're just looking for that win. Anything else is really last place, and so you're going to take more risk because there's more to gain. You're not out there for points. You're only out there for the win, for the trophy, the money, and to celebrate in victory lane and to give the fans a great show. So you take more risk, but you still have to be patient. You have to look around you, see when guys are maybe pushing too hard and going to crash or something might happen. To set the car up for 25 laps. Sometimes the car might start out a little loose in order to be fast towards the end of the run. I do think track position is going to be very important, and so a car that takes off pretty good is going to be important. So you might want to be a little bit riskier, at the beginning. And sometimes positioning. If you're on the outside lane, you might want to have to be more aggressive to hold that guy in that inside lane to get position on him. So I think it's just about choosing when to be aggressive, when to be patient. And in my mind, that's I think one of my best qualities. I think that's one of Mark Martin's best qualities, and I think it's one of Jimmy's best qualities too. Those are when I look at the 3 names that you're talking about, including myself in that. Those guys are usually around at the end of most races and have had a shot at winning quite a few along the way. And that's what you have to do here. You just have to shorten it up into a 25-lap sprint or a 100-lap race and all.
Tony, you had a question. You want to raise your hand so we can bring you the mic?
Tony Fabrizio, Tampa Tribune. Jeff, will you guys say or do anything special for DJ tomorrow night with it being his last race?
I certainly would like to. I'm certainly going to say something to him as well as if I get interviewed, I'd certainly like to bring it up. I've had a real pleasure racing against him. He's one of my favorites as a driver and as a person, and I've had the opportunity to race hard against him, race for championships against him. And in my opinion, he stacks up there with the all-time best. I did a really special basket, if you call it that, with a lot of goodies that I hope that he likes that I delivered to him when we got here to the racetrack. So hopefully he likes that.